So let's get into it. First episode of All Truth, No Chaser. I hope that I say something, man, that encourages you guys so that we have a space for us. A space for us that is designed for us to be better men, to be better people, to be better fathers, to be better brothers, friends, all of that, you know. And I hope that the conversations that we have here sparks some insight for all of us, some insight for myself, some insight for you guys, something to make us all go, because this is all truth, no chaser, man. This is I think this is a place where we can all get some kind of mentorship to encourage us to hold ourselves accountable. And it just so happens that this very first episode is going to be geared around accountability. And I think it's so important because so many of us, especially what I see like in some 20-year-olds, early 30-year-olds, man, this concept of being accountable is a difficult concept. My dad died. When my dad died, he died, I think he was, man, what was 70 something, I think. And he didn't actually start understanding the concept of accountability of one's actions, man, until like the last few years of his life. So it's like, here it is, you live 60 plus something years on the planet Earth, and you still struggle with this idea of accountability, and understanding that you are the captain of your ship, bro. Like, if things ain't going right in your life, it's probably your fault. In some regard, we're not talking about things that can be pushed upon you, but if you're not happy with your life, you have to take some accountability for that. You can't push that on other people. So yes, I am married, um happily married, and I'm a firm believer in my marriage that if my marriage is going to be successful, if my marriage is going to fail, with my kids, if my kids are going to be successful, if my kids fail, um, I believe that's my fault. All of it. I believe it's my fault because I'm responsible for my wife. I'm responsible for my kids. And it is my job to keep the thermostat at a temperature that is good for everybody. And sometimes that can be at the expense of myself. But understand something, when I say at the expense of myself, that does not mean that we are to be ignored. It just so happens that sometimes the accountability that we carry as men, we typically end up feeling ignored because we do so much outpouring, and wanting to make sure that everybody else is good and everybody else is happy. And the outcome of that is that we end up being ignored. But everybody's life, us men, every person's experience is going to be a little bit different. But I genuinely believe that we all go through that season, when you're in a marriage, a relationship, or whatever, to where we do so much and it kind of gets overlooked. And it's like, man, what am I supposed to do about that? Because if I complain about it, I'm gonna be looked at funny. If I say something, my words are gonna get twisted out of shape, and next thing you know, my spouse is making it seem like I don't appreciate her, or my kids is like, what's going on? And that happens, man. That happens, and we have to figure out how do we maneuver that, space to where we're able to express ourselves while being accountable for what we say, being accountable for how we say, being accountable for uh, ensuring that what we say is actually being understood with the words that we're using. Sometimes your significant other, you can say, have a good day, and they think you trying to come for them. Like, man, all I said was have a good day. You know, what is all this other stuff? And that can happen, but we have to be accountable for that. We have to be accountable for that. So first things first, man, when we talk about accountability, it's good that we know that accountability means a person that is going to do what they say they're going to do. They're going to be what they say they're going to be. They're somebody that other people know, hey, you know, they are extremely reliable. If they can't do something, they're going to let you know. They're just not going to pretend as if you didn't say you was going to do it and didn't do it, and then want to make other people feel bad for what they said they was going to do that they didn't do. We all know people like that. You know, accountability, people who have accountability, we lean into it because we set the standard. And even your peer group, man, your peer group, for us men, if you don't got fellas around you that hold you accountable, then what kind of people you got? And we're not talking about being accountable on some crazy stuff. I'm talking about being accountable is to being a good person. Being accountable of, if you're going to sit there and tell people your dreams, are you just talking or are you seriously going after that? Being accountable from a position of, just because things aren't going your way, but yo, keep your head up and keep moving. That type of accountability. We have to be accountable to us men too. And so when I myself think about accountability and how I go about instilling accountability in my home, it genuinely starts with submission. If we desire, I think all men, I'm gonna sit there and just make that judgment. Some of y'all might say, not me. That's fine. Then this doesn't go for you. But I believe all men desires their partner to be submissive to them in some degree. And in order to get your lady to be submissive to you, you first yourself have to lay down that framework. You got to lay down that framework of submission. You have to show what that looks like. And you do that by submitting to her. You do that by saying, yes, you know, let me show you what it feels like to trust me. So I'm going to enact those actions of behavior that I would like to see in you. Let me show you what that looks like. Let me make sure that I'm listening to you. Let me make sure that I'm hearing you. Let me make sure that I know what your love language is, that I know what you like, what you don't like, you know, all those little details. And you have to build that, because the thing is, like, folks say, like, I ain't submitting to no woman. Well, that's fine. But if you won't submit to your woman, how do you expect your woman to submit to you? If a woman doesn't submit to a man, it's probably because that woman doesn't respect him. That woman doesn't trust him. That man has done things or broken trust or lied or did something to where the foundation that you desire her to stand on is unstable. You did something. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to sit out here and say that all women are ready for that type of relationship. We know, just like women know they messing with a sucker, we the same way. We the same way. We know if a woman is the woman that we want to invest in. So if she's not a woman that you want to invest in, you can't be looking for her to carry herself in a certain type of manner when she's not even the place you want to make your investment. You feel me? If she's not the place where you want to grow, if she's not the place where you want to build business, build family, build a future, you can't ask her to be that type of person. Because from the very jump, if she's not that person, then how you going to be accountable to somebody who doesn't even be accountable to themselves? And men, listen, brothers, listen. Brothers, in order to be accountable to other people, we got to be accountable to ourselves. Are we being accountable to ourselves? Are we being accountable to going to the gym? Are we being accountable to eating right? Are we being accountable to making sure that we're taking care of ourselves? Are we being accountable to flossing and brushing our teeth in the morning? Are we being accountable to making up the bed? Are we being accountable to our very own existence? Because if you can't be accountable to your own self, how can you be accountable to somebody else? That just don't work. You know what I'm saying? You can't ask somebody to be something that you aren't yourself. We want a woman to be loyal to us, but we're not loyal to ourselves. We want somebody to do right by us, but we're not doing right by ourselves. The key to accountability always starts with us. It always starts internally. And if you struggle with doing what you say you're going to do for you, you're definitely going to struggle doing what somebody else needs of you, because they go hand in hand. And you can't even ask somebody else to be there for you when you can't be there for yourself. If you don't love yourself, you can't ask somebody to love you. If you are broken, you got to fix yourself. You can't ask some other female to fix you. That just don't work. And we see that all the time, because you have broken women. They want to go and they get with a man, and then they mad at the man because the man can't fix them. It's the same thing. You can't be a broken dude going to a woman, asking a woman to fix your brokenness. You got to fix that with yourself. So let's be accountable to ourselves and be mature enough with ourselves to say, hey, we all ready for a relationship or we aren't. But if you're going to keep it a buck and be like, yo, I'm going to keep it 100 with you, shorty. I'm not ready for no relationship. So I just want to let you know that. But then you still engage with her as if you are in a relationship, and in the process hiding behind the words, well, I told you from the jump, I ain't want no relationship, but yet you want to dig out. Like, that math ain't mathing, as they say. That just don't work. And I think that's also being accountable to us, because listen, if you're going to sleep with a lady, have sex with her, whatever, you're going to do that, and she gets pregnant, is that the person that you want to make a child with forever? I mean, at least that was my logic when I was coming up. I wasn't going to be dancing with nobody if if I thought we was going to make a ugly baby. Yes, you can say what you want to. That was my logic in my early 20s. I was like, yo, if I sleep with you and you accidentally get pregnant, I think that baby going to be ugly, and I don't want to contribute to that. You can call me, you can say whatever you want about me, but listen, I'm 43 today. That's what I said then, and if it make you feel uncomfortable, you're allowed to be uncomfortable. But that was my logic. Everybody has a logic at some period in their life. And that logic is what held them accountable to some kind of standard that they probably were setting for themselves. For myself, that was the logic that I was setting for myself. And you know what? It worked out. Worked in my favor. So Bob's your uncle. Yeah, man. So as I was saying, when it comes to families and your kids, you got to be accountable for your kids, because you can't ask your kids to be good human beings. Um, you can't ask people to do what I say and that as I do, because when you don't, when you live a life of just doing what I say and not as I do, we already know that the people who watch you are always going to do what you say and ignore. Well, they're always going to do what you do and ignore everything that you say. We already know that off rip. Your words and your actions got to match. Your behavior has to match what you say. There's nothing I hate worse than to see somebody who's trying to tell somebody to work out that they don't work out. Seeing somebody who's not taking care of themselves telling you you need to take care of yourself. Now, it's different if they're saying that from a place of, I don't want you to end up like I did, so please avoid this example. But it's another thing when people are trying to tell you what you're supposed to be doing as if that is what they're doing. Come on, bro. If you're not doing it and you're not living that life, you're not 10 toes down, you're not going after that, you're not doing none of that, but then you're going to have a lot of words to say, a lot of words of wisdom, as if that's your action. It's like these people out here that get involved with these MLMs. Hey, no cap on the people that live that life. But as a former MLMer, there's nothing worse than to see people who get involved with these MLMs, like social media, and they pretend as if everything is great. This MLM has changed my life. Just like social media, you paint this picture as your life is great when you actually living in hell. What kind of accountability is that? You can't even be accountable to your truth. It would be better. You're better off saying, I hope this pans out for me, man. I'm going to try to see if I can work this thing. You know, if you want to join in on this journey, just like this podcast, join in on this journey, be with a brother. But maybe we might get something out of it. But we already know what we're dealing with. You know, I mean, just keeping it honest, keeping it a buck, and with the place of accountability and trust. Accountability and trust that the people that you talk to, they understand that you understand. This may or may not work out, but I'm going to give it my best shot, and we're going to see what happens. Like, that's something. That's better than getting on social media and pretending like everything is grand when it's not. Because if everything is grand and you're painting this picture, but yet you're going out to broken people trying to tell them to come get over here, and they don't even got the means, like, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. They'll sit up here and tell you, you know what I'm saying, that you need to make a sacrifice to make better for your life by doing this. Now, mind you, if you ain't got no money, so what you want me to do is go into more debt. You want me to go into more poverty to go after something because it benefits you, but it doesn't necessarily benefit me. Where's the level of accountability in that? We want our children to be accountable people. That's why we tell them not to lie. We want our children to be accountable people. That's why we tell them to be honest. We want our children to be accountable people. That's why we tell them how they're supposed to carry ourselves. But listen, grown-ups ain't nothing but big kids. What you telling to a 5-year-old in regards to how they live their life is still equal and relevant to what you tell somebody at the age of 50. It's the same thing. Just because you're quote unquote grown does not exempt you from high level of accountability. Doesn't. And fellas, we got to do better, man. We got to do better. We got to be people who are men of their words. That's why that's the phrase. I'm a man of my word. Well, if you are a man of your word, that is telling the person you saying it to that you are accountable, that you are reliable, and that you can trust me. But whenever I hear somebody say I'm a man of their word, I'm automatically thinking that they're lying. Because why are you trying to convince me of such? Your actions already tell me that you suspect. And none of this stuff I'm saying should be falling on deaf ears, like where you don't know what I'm talking about. At least that's what I think. You know, I read this one quote that said, words don't mean a whole lot if your actions don't back them up. In the battle between what you say and what you do wins every time in terms of proving your character. From a biblical standpoint, right? If we're going to throw the Bible in there, because I'm going to do that every so often, I'm going to throw the Bible in there because that's my foundation. When Eve ate of the fruit, right? She runs up on Adam and she's like, yo, I know we weren't supposed to eat of this tree, right? But it's really good. It's busting, yo. Like, it's the best. It's the best thing on a buffet here. It's the best. I don't know why we couldn't eat it, but it's live. So Adam goes, he eats it. God comes down in. Yo, Adam, where you at? Adam over here hiding in the bushes or whatever. And then when they do start talking, he takes no accountability. He says, the woman you gave me made me eat this fruit, made me eat. It was that woman you gave me, as if that woman didn't come from him. Now, granted, we all know this. If you tell the truth from the very beginning, the trouble you get into ain't as great. But when you lie, as if people don't know what happened, the trouble you get in is greater. When it comes to the conditions of the world, like ushering in the sin was probably going to still be ushered in. Maybe it wouldn't have been great. Maybe it wouldn't have been so bad if he was accountable from jump. Maybe women wouldn't have birth pains. Maybe men wouldn't have to go out here and toil the field, fighting the thorns. Maybe. We'll never know because he didn't take accountability for his actions. If our kids come up there and they tell us they did wrong from the jump, the amount of trouble they get in ain't so great, because most of the time, yo, we like, yo, I just appreciate you for telling the truth. Keep doing that. Don't make this mistake no more. But if they come lying and they double down as if we stupid, that's when we go get the belt and we beat them down, because we got to beat the lies up out of them to make them accountable people. Being accountable produces a certain type of fruit. Not being accountable also produces a certain type of fruit. Us fellas, we are the ones that decide what kind of fruit we're going to produce. It's either it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. And that's it. So, I would say our biggest obstacle in regards to what we need to be doing, how we need to be going about things, is kind of generate. If you struggle with accountability, a couple things I would say that you can do, because accountability is something that has to be practiced. We can talk about it all day. We can do all kinds of things, but if you're not actually practicing it, like communication, being able to communicate with your significant other, it's a practice. It's a practice. You got to really be working at it. So I would say a couple things, man. Like if you're going to if you struggle with accountability, if you tell somebody you're going to do something, put it on the calendar. Putting things on the calendar helps keep you accountable. Setting reminders on the phone. What cannot your iPhone do? I'm an iPhone person. If you have an Android, I'm so sorry to hear that. I would recommend that you don't do that. But hey, that's just me. But I'm pretty sure your Android also has those same features. Putting alerts and reminders and living by a calendar. Those things can help you be more accountable. Also, if you live by a calendar and you put all of your commitments on a calendar, it will prevent you from overcommitting. A lot of some of us fellas, man, we so kind-hearted. We want to be there for everybody, do things for everybody, but then we overcommit. So not only are we running ourselves thin by overcommitting, we're also telling people that we're not reliable because we overcommit. So living your life by a calendar, if you struggle with accountability and remembering where you're supposed to be at the time you're supposed to be there, living life by a calendar will prevent you from overcommitting. And the people that you truly genuine trust. Point number 3, people that you love, that love all of you. Ask them to help you be accountable. Give them permission. Be like, yo, I said I was gonna go to the gym at 6. I've been getting on my daughter about this, and my son too. But like, yo, I said I was gonna go to the gym at 6. Can you just call me and make sure that I'm up? Can you hold me accountable to achieving this goal? Can you help me do this? When it comes to saving money, using something, I'm not gonna plug it, but we have this service that we use that tracks every last cent. I'll plug it if you know me personally, I told you about it. But maybe we'll reach out to him and then I can put something in the link or something like that. But that'll track all of your money to keep you accountable, to let you know exactly how old your money is. Some of us get our money and our money lasts 30 minutes before it's gone. All our money is 30 minutes old. If we want our money, the money that you make, is your savings, to get to a place to where it's 5 days, 10 days, 30 days, 45 days, 6 months old, you're doing good. So give other people that genuinely care about your mental, genuinely care about your spiritual, genuinely care about your physical, get them permission to hold you accountable. And don't take it personal when they come to do their job. Don't ask people to hold you accountable and then they come hold you accountable and then you giving them attitude. Let's not do that. You know, and 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 this is really great too. You need to inspect what you expect. Inspect what you expect. Are your expectations, are your expectations real? Are your expectations obtainable? Like, for real. If you're 55 years old, but yet you want people to support your music as a rapper, um, is that a good expectation? You know, if your partner doesn't have a very high libido, if her sex drive isn't as high as yours, should you expect her to meet you where you at, or should you go back to the drawing board and then set a different expectation? Sometimes having expectations require a conversation, because what you expect may not be what your partner expects. And sometimes you need to ask yourself, like, don't lie to yourself. If you know you're not going to do something, don't even put that on your goal chart. So many people come out here for New Year's resolutions, and they put all this stuff. They go out here and they make these vision boards of things that they don't even genuinely expect of themselves. But yet they want to have an expectation. They really don't care about it, but want to have an expectation towards it. You're not doing yourself no favors. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not a big vision board guy. That's not how I move. I don't 5-year plans, 10-year plans, 6-month plans. I'm not a big vision board guy, because you can have a vision board, and this is only my own personal experience. My own personal experience, vision boards have not panned out for me. Vision boards just create pressure for me. And pressure does burst pipes, but it's a different type of pressure when the things that you put on your vision board in your 12 months, 24 months, 5-year, 10-year plans, they don't pan out. I do believe in this, though. I do believe in, what is it that you want to achieve? What is it that you desire? And being held accountable to what it is that you want to achieve. If God has told you to do something, if God has shown you who you could be, if God has told you to do something and he's shown you who you could be, then that part is what I'm accountable to. And I am up for the journey. For some people, to become the thing that they desire to be, to manifest the vision that God has shown them, some people take 6 months. Boom, boom, pow. Some people it takes 10, 60 years. But clearly there was something that needed to fall off. There was something that needed to be obtained. There were lessons that needed to be learned to live in that space. So, am I a vision board guy? No. Am I committed and accountable to the journey of what I want to achieve? Yes. Because I don't know what's going to happen between, you know, the alphabet. What is it? A, and the last one is what? Z. So B and Y, X, Y, Z. There we go. So between B and Y, I don't know. All I know is A and Z. All I know is A and Z. I don't know what's going to happen between B and Y. So I'm not finna sit up here and make plans for C, D, E, F, G, because I don't even know if it's gonna go in that order. For all I know, I might go from A to X. Next thing you know, I'm finding myself at C, and then I'm at F, then I'm at H, then I'm at J, K, and then I can feel good because I'm elemental P, and the next thing you know, I'm back at A. Fortunately, for those that know, that's what success looks like. It's not a linear line. There is a lot of whoop-de-whoops and the oh my gods and whatever. However, always being accountable and committed to the whatever. So inspect what you expect. Doing those things, man, is going to take you a long way. But first things first, fellas, we got to be accountable. We just got to, man. We just got to, man. Anyway, I want to thank you guys, man, so much for tuning in today. I want to thank y'all for y'all support. And please let me know how I can make these things better. Let me know how you felt about this conversation, my thoughts. Please provide me your thoughts so that we can all be accountable to one another. Last but not least, guys, I want to let y'all know God don't need no help. So if you find yourself, fellas, if you find yourself trying to help God, you're already behind the curve. He don't need no help. Holla.